Hello and welcome back to a Kooky Corner of YouTube. Today I've got some late evening sun just drifting through onto my desk, and I thought I would show you some of the books that I've been inspired by lately. Some of them new, some of them not so new, but all of them very, very interesting. So the first one I'm going to kick off with is this beautiful book by Craft Tree. I think it's an interweave book. Let me push these out of the way for a minute so we've got a bit more room. Yeah, it is an interweave book. It came out in 2013, so it's not a new book, but still a very, very lovely book. And it's notebook covers and more. And I've had this for a while. It's been on my bookshelf for a long time, and I have previously, many years ago, actually had a go at one of the things inside of here to make one of my notebook covers. But I'm now looking at it with new eyes because obviously my love of slow stitching, and look at this, a little bit of English paper piecing going on there. That's a piece of a worn out antique quilt, it says. So this has brought this more to the forefront of my things that I'm loving to do at the minute. So yeah, journal covers, art book covers, I actually adore that. I think that is beautiful, and done in your own way, I think these are actually stunning. Journal and sketchbook covers, so it's got all of the details to make these. This looks like some kind of a log cabin kind of idea going on there. A stripy book cover. Covered notepads. This is something I've been looking at the minute because I do like a notepad in my bag. There's also this quilted cover for your sketchbook. You know I'm a big fan of covers for sketchbooks. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, you know. Yeah, making a portfolio. Brilliant. It's just some beautiful ideas. Love that as well. That'd be an ideal thing for me to take out and about a decorative portfolio with all the things in it you need to create a little bit of art. Just so nice to have. So this is ideal, and also whilst you're looking through this, you'll get ideas for other things that you want to make. So it's a really good book. It gives you lots and lots of instruction. There's directions for different sizes and things, but I'm sure you can figure out if it's a different size notebook you've got, you can figure that out. But that's one that I'm really into at the minute. Notebook covers and more, and it's by Lindsay Murray, or compiled by Lindsay Murray McClelland. And as I say, it's an interweave book. So it was the former editor assistant of Cloth, Paper, Scissors and Modern Patchwork. So that's that one. The next book that I have in front of me is Art Quilt Collage by Deborah Boschert. Please, apologies if I have pronounced that incorrectly. I'm terrible at pronouncing names correctly. So Boschert, could be Bochet, who knows. But again, you can see, if you know me, why I would be interested in this. So there she is, and it's Tap into your creative muse, art quilt inspiration, and complicated visual guides tell your own artistic story. Beautiful pictures in this book. So inspiration, fabric selection, design and composition, construction, personal symbols. That's a really good one actually, and very interesting. What kind of personal symbols do you have? What do you do when you're doodling? What kind of things, do you always see in your work? So that's a very interesting chapter that I've been looking at. Surface design and stitching, obviously. Now, a lot of this may be machine, and if you use machine, that's all great. But there's also, you can adapt to hand stitching quite easily. And I just find this absolutely fascinating. The colours are beautiful. All different ideas about felting and batting of fabrics. And needles and thread, paint, pens and marking tools. So an interesting thing that I've often thought of as well is that she doesn't actually use fabric paint, she just uses ordinary paint, you know, any acrylic paint that you've got. And then just add a fabric medium to it and you've instantly got your fabric paint. So I've got a golden fabric medium that I will be adding into some painty fabrics I'm going to be doing in the future. Keep watching this space. So yeah, she's obviously inspired by different chairs and things, and there's lots of machine embroidery in this, but these are easily adapted if you wanted to just stitch by hand. And I am sure, I think I had a download from her many years ago. I'm trying to rack my brains now when I'm doing something, but yeah, symbol study. But this is C&T, who also had something to do with like quilting arts or something. And I'm sure there was like a lesson that you could download from her. But again, a very interesting, beautiful book. Lots of beautiful imagery that will spark your imagination. And some of the things that you don't really see sometimes covered in things like this, which are personal symbols. Also little design checklists, so balance, harmony, repetition and edges, all these things, you know, that you might want to check through when you're designing a piece. So that's that one. Art Quilt Collage by Deborah Boscher. I'm going to say Boscher because I'm feeling Francais. Don't know what I'm saying, ignore me. That's the book. Next two books are linked. I may have shown them you before, but I have been having a renewed interest in them this past month because I'm interested in doing something very similar myself, and we'll be doing something on it in the nearish future when I get through everything else I need to do. This is one of the books. It's called Making Faces in Fabric, and this is a workshop with Melissa Averinos. Draw, collage, stitch and show. So it's like a workshop book. It's also a C&T publishing, or it was a C&T publishing book, and it's now Stash Books. This came out in 2018. So it is very good at taking you through. If you're not an artist, it can be sometimes hard to decide how you're going to tackle a face or a portrait. So it does actually get you through the drawing element of this as well. So it gets you started on proportions and things, which is very important with faces. Obviously, if you're going to do something quirky, then it doesn't really matter. So if you're going to do a Picasso, then proportions kind of go out the window. But if you're wanting to do some kind of a portrait that vaguely looks like a portrait, then this is the book to go to. So it gives you eye placement. This is also very useful when you're drawing portraits as well. So even if you're just an artist, then this might be handy for you if you've never done portraiture before and you're kind of interested. So there's quite a bit on the drawing part of this. So hair, and then we get into collage. And this is the bit I was finding fascinating. So it's how all the fabrics are linked together to create the shape of the face, and this is how it's all put together. So best prints to use carefully. Very interesting to know about as well. And base fabrics. There's a thing about how you choose colours which go together. So if that's something you're interested in. Adhesives, so we've got fusibles, we've got glues, obviously a good pair of scissors you're going to need, and then how to collage the eyes and things. If you've been seeing my crows, you know that I love putting human eyes on crows. So very interesting how to get expressions as well. So hair, all the stitches. A lot of the time, again, sometimes this is like free motion embroidery, but also hand embroidery, which is the way I'd probably go with it. you can combine them as well. You could do, maybe the lines in this could be done with like a machine, and then you could stitch into it. There's all sorts of possibilities really. And then there's ideas. An embellished shirt. I have got an idea to do one of my denim jackets with a crow on the back. So watch this space. Yeah, so a really, really interesting book. Very, very interesting, with lots of techniques and ideas of how you might go about making a face in fabric. And now I'm going to go on to the other book, which is linked to this one. So this one, I believe I may have shown you before. I can't remember. I do show you a lot of my Batsford books, but this is a Textile Portraits by Anne Kelly, People and Places in Textile Art. Now this came out 2023, I do believe. Just double check that. Again, glorious pictures. Yeah, 2023. So it's fairly new, and I know I got this almost as soon as it came out, because it had been on my list. You know, Amazon suggests things to you that are coming out, and this was one of them. This one is much more of a inspirational book. Not that the other one wasn't inspirational, but this has got more different artists working in different ways. So just so interesting how you can, all different artists can interpret the way of a textile portrait. I love these, actually, really love these. So there's so much to see in here. Look at these. These are kind of like magazine illustrations, aren't they? Very cool. This is a knit portrait. How cool is that? We're stitched into as well. Loving all of these. So these are all different artists and how they approach putting together a textile portrait. We've got dolls here as well. I love that. That is awesome. Amelia Scott doll. Fabulous. So we've got very beautiful and bright and decorative pieces. Some small, some larger, some more abstracted perhaps as well. And in here you'd also get making a doll from a pattern. How cool! I didn't even notice this one before. This is one I've missed. So it gives you like an actual doll pattern that you could work from to make your own doll. This one is much more, as I say, an inspirational book, but it does give you techniques. There's quite a bit of reading as well, which is good. I like to settle down with a nice big mug of tea and a book like this just to delve into. That is so cool. I had one of those dogs. In fact, my mother-in-law had one called Bobby Dog. I remember that, Bobby Dog. But I had one as well. It takes me back. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful book. Very much recommended for eye candy, inspiration, and lots of thought-provoking ideas. That's Textile Portraits, People and Places in Textile Art by Anne Kelly. This one's a new one on me. I don't know how I ventured down this particular rabbit hole, but I did. And this one is called Korean Patchwork Quilting. It's 37 modern Bojagi style projects. And this is by Choi Yang-suk. And it's quite beautiful in the way that some of these pieces are put together. This is like a traditional American patchwork called, is it Cathedral Windows? Yeah, Cathedral Windows. But I love how they do these in shears. And there's a specific seam that you do as well with these, so that the seams are hidden on both sides, which is very cool. But Bojagi is wrapping cloth. So if you were giving a gift to someone, you would make one of these in order to wrap your present in. But now they are works of art on their own in general. but really interesting. So the artist takes you through the way that they came across this particular style of quilting. And Bajagi is pieced together from old fabric odds and ends and is infused with blessings of fortune, longevity and good health. Traditionally meant for wrapping and covering, these projects could certainly be used in that way, but they could be beautiful and modern as window coverings or room partitions. Happiness is the glow of sun rays filtered through mindfully stitched scraps. So yes, fabric choices and things like this are going to be key, really. Look at this, it's like a hand-painted, indigo-dyed sheer fabric and then stitched it. Oh, just so beautiful. So some of the projects are going to be easier to do than others. I think it takes you through easy projects, small projects. I quite like that little pouch bag there, the chimoni. That's a pouch in Korean. And we designed this one to be extra roomy. It would have a fun pop of colour if you used this decor. So very interesting. And then it takes you through lessons, which is what I found interesting. This is a basic sewing lesson of how to do all the different sewing stitches that you might need. Then also how to put together the particular seam that keeps it looking so beautiful and neat. Really, really stunning. All the instructions for each of the pieces in the book are also then listed out as well with the sizes. So yes, if you're interested in tackling something a little bit different, then Korean Patchwork Quilting by Choi Yang-suk. The last one in my list is not a book, it is a magazine. But I regard these as books in their own right because they are so beautifully put together. It is the Textile Art Magazine Embroidery, and it is published 6 times a year. So it comes out January, March, May, July and September by the Embroiderers Guild. So this is the Embroiderers Guild's own magazine. I picked mine up locally in the WH Smiths. I kind of have to search for it. It's not easily to be found, but I think there must be a few embroiderers in the town who actually buy this, so they actually stock it. But they do have an online website you can order it from as well. So this is my go-to if I'm wanting to know any new books that are coming out or any exhibitions that are going to be on. I love this one. This one's already been earmarked. Look at this one. This is Naughty Medieval Embroidery by medieval stitch specialist Tanya Bentham. Comes with an adults only warning. This practical book explains a range of techniques used in medieval embroidery, from a simple stem stitch to silk and gold work. I am that's got to go on my list. I love that so much, and also really, really loving this Mad Hatter book here. So yeah, crocheted hats. That one looks like a vegetable stall. It's beautiful. So those are 2 to put on your list. If you're like me and you like a little bit of the unusual, then definitely go for these. But this magazine, I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it wouldn't really be fair to do that, but I mean, look at that dress apparently is touring, so it's going around places. Stitching into photographs, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, this is just stunning. I can see in here as well bits of K Facets materials that have been used underneath the stitchery. But it's stunning. It is truly stunning. Look at that lion. Amazing. And this is mouth-wateringly lovely. Lots beachcombing for inspiration. I'm kind of thinking of you, Christine, somehow, when I was looking at this, thinking of all those beautiful textured pieces that you've been doing. But yeah, a really good book. This one, I've started to read this and haven't finished it yet, about Sam Miller, who makes dolls, art dolls. Just lovely, beautiful. And then it gives you all about education and how you can find courses and stuff. And the adverts are all tailored towards embroiderers. So how you could start your career in hand embroidery with the Royal School of Needlework. Rainbow Silks, spent many pounds in that shop, believe me. Yeah, so that's the last one then. That's a Textile Art Magazine embroidery, and that's with all the other beautiful books I just showed you. So Korean Patchwork one, and our Textile Portraits, Making Faces in Fabric, the Art Quilt Collage, and a notebook covers and more. And I think that's going to keep us going for a fair while. I do sometimes check myself because I have been known to buy books twice that I've forgotten I've already bought. So I hope you've enjoyed this little ramble through my recent loves, things that I've got my nose into at the minute, and I hope you found something of interest to yourself. That's all from me for now. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll be back here soon with something else, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.